Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Yes, the weekend's almost here. Yes, 1 week left in June. Next Friday, to be exact, July will be knocking on the door. Yes, the NBA draft is tonight. Over on DraftKings, and we had Julian on Edlow a couple days ago from DraftKings, and the rumor was Paolo Banchero from Duke was moving up, and that's how the steam goes, And it happened in the NFL draft this year too. Um, and this one was kind of comical in regards to he was plus 2,000, and then a little rumor started going around. Then he's plus 900. Came on to our show with Julian. He went to 600, and then he was the second favorite. Well, back to back days, Woj is on ESPN, and he kind of nipped that in the bud, and the market set. And like, all right, we got this. We got Jabari Smith first, Pablo second, Chet third, most likely Ivy fourth. Currently at DK right now, Paolo Banchero minus 190 to go first. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun 10 hours before we get to that. I'm debating here. Well, let me go here first. ECSI VIPs, we're sitting in the catbird seat. Let's just close this deal. Before the Stanley Cup started, Avs to win the Western Conference plus 130, Avs to win the Stanley Cup plus 330. We got to a point where for myself at $80 and the Lightning plus 420, I got 330 on both sides. But why I really did that was because we were sitting with the exacta Avs in 5 plus 375. Now, Avs are up 3-1, and the two-time defending champs are 0-2 in OT. And I'll just say this, Vasilevsky, I just stood on his head and made some amazing saves. So for all the Avs fans or anyone that took the Avs and, with the decent plus money, I mean, again, you're one bounce away, to literally winning both those overtime games, and you'd be sitting where the Avs are. So Friday, game 5, overnight line, Avs minus 160, 165. Do I think it's going to be a blowout? No. To beat the two-time defending champs, if they come in and sleepwalk, the Avs are going to roll them. The Lightning will roll them, excuse me. If they come in there and think that the Cup's, because it's in the building, we got this. So just be careful, but it'd be a nice score with a plus 330 and a plus 375 if we can get the Avs in. So now I'm going to bring Scotty in because I got to vent for a second, and I know what he's going to say. He's going to say, Jeff, it's baseball. I told you the offenses are coming. But when I tell him these two stories, I really want to puke. So let's bring him in from the Palm Tree State himself, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Good morning, Scott.
Well, it's great to bring me in to listen to you puke.
I have to vent for a second, and I will give a quick shout out to our producer, Mr. Kiefer Bagwell, the best in the business. And what this guy does behind the scenes is off the charts. I can't wait for the fall. We're going to blow some people away there. And if you need a real professional TikTok guy, and I can't believe I'm saying this live because I want to keep him for myself, give him a shout out, give him a look. Tell him Jeff sent you. So let me set the stage, Scott. I threw out Wheeler first 5 minus the hook minus 105. It was a trap. Hoskins, error, 2 unearned runs, down 2-0. We tie it 2-2. They go to the bottom of the 5th, down 3-2. And anyways, we would have lost it anyways because of the error. And Wheeler gives up another run. Wrong side. I was beaten there. We come back with Pablo. Lopez, Marlins first 5 minus the hook. We win that. We have Arkansas last night in the college bases. What a hell of a game. Plus 105 money line. Up 3-1, bases loaded, bottom of the ninth. Ole Miss loads the bases up, no outs. They get one across, and that was it, 3-2. But if I told you back-to-back days, I have run lines where my team scores 10 runs and I lose both. 2 nights ago, we had the Braves. They lose 12-10. But this one is a real kick in the nuts. We had the Twins run line plus 140 last night, and they were up 5-1. They were up 10-7 in the top of the ninth, and they give up 4 runs in the top of the ninth, and I lose that one 11-10. Now, when I tell you I got scored upon in every which way humanly possible yesterday, but an inside the park, a bases loaded walk, an error, a pass ball, a balk. Yeah, I said a balk. Any way we could get scored upon, we got scored upon. But that Minnesota plus 140, up 10-7, up 5-1 is such a kick in the nuts. And I know you're going to say it's baseball. I get it. But I mean, that's a 3-1 day with a plus 140 that. All right, I'm done venting before I say something I shouldn't say.
Well, this stuff's not for the faint of heart, and baseball in particular is not for the faint of heart. You sit there and watch a football game, and you feel like you're in pretty good shape, and then a turnover happens, and then they come down and they scored 2 touchdowns, and it costs you. But that's not the way baseball works. Baseball sits there and you go, oh, well, it took forever to score these 5 runs, or it took whatever to score this. We worked our ass off. We got the 5 runs. The other team's not doing anything against our pitcher. And then a break happens, and then something stupid happens. And then as it continues to flow, the momentum shifts. And as it shifts, here's a story. I remember going through this, and I was a catcher, so we had a good pitcher on the mound, and our team made 3 straight errors, 3 straight. So I went out to talk to the pitcher, but I called the infielders into the meeting, and I said, "Look, guys, this is a pretty simple thing. I know you're not out here trying to make errors. That's not what you're trying to do. But God damn it, you're not trying to make outs either. So get out here and start making some goddamn outs." Right? Then I turned around and I walked back to the plate. So sometimes, because there's a couple of things in baseball that's different. The number one thing about baseball that's different, it's 162 games. Everything happens. Everything. Because you see it all. I mean, if you took 162 times, I don't know, probably even if you just did times 8.5, I mean, that's 1,000 innings. These guys are playing 1,000 innings at the highest level of baseball they can play, against the highest quality of players and pitchers and stuff they can deal with. I don't know about managers anymore, but the truth being is that over the course of all of that, everything is going to happen, and it's how you deal with it. And in our lanes, we get these things all the time. And the most frustrating thing to me, personally, is I don't feel the same about the wins anymore. I feel worse about losses than I do celebratory about wins, and I got to fix that, because you get nonplussed to things. You get the big old callus on there, and because we do this every day, and we study and do the research and do the numbers and do everything, I expect to win, and so does everybody else expect me to win, because that's why they listen or they do whatever. And when you lose, it's bigger news than when you win, and that's wrong. When you win, it's bigger news than when you lose, no matter how good at this you are. So you've got to get to a point where some of this stuff just shakes off and folds over and runs off. And but it is baseball, and I don't have a better answer for you other than, it's 162 games, and that's why they play that many. Just think about when they played those 60 games and the Miami Marlins were in the playoffs. Okay, if they played 160 games, they wouldn't make it. So there's a reason why they do that.
Well, you know what I'm going to basically do to tell all the listeners here, it's Thursday. What we try to do, obviously, is get you ready for the breakfast bankroll, and then get you ready for what we call as the closing bell around 4:30 on Thursdays, or around 6 o'clock during the week. But it's all day baseball today, and tonight there would be 1, 2, 3 games. So we're kind of going to do uh, a breakfast bankroll and a closing bell all at once, and give Scotty the afternoon and evening off. Now, if something breaks or something, we're going to hit it up on our timeline and stuff. But with that said, there's a 12:10, 12:20, 12:35, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to, where am I going to go here today? I'm going to put up Wager Talk, and I'm going to give you the quick eye test, because it's one that, again, smells to high heaven, of course. And you're going to tell me that you like the favorite here, and this is why. And listen, I'm done trying to beat these guys. Comical yesterday, 2 days ago, we got the Orioles, and yesterday they were the 1972 Orioles, even though they had a couple rain delays there. And then the Braves score, 2 or 3 in the ninth to walk off. Just comical. We talk about it in baseball being that one day early, and I was one day early on a couple of them. But here's today's board, and the one that sticks out like a sore thumb. Again, the Yankees just find ways to win. That's it. I thought you were going to lose the first game, which we had your Rays, and then you come back and win the next two. They're in every game. Cy Talion. That's why they said Cy Talion is pitching today. They come back home against the Astros. They hated Astros. Opened up minus 124 last night. Now down to minus 120 at Jazz. Basically, 124 or 125 at Westgate and South Point. Circa at 123. So that one smells to holy high heaven, number one. And under over of 8.5 that has dropped to 8 overnight from overnight to now. So that's number one. Number two, our buddy SoCal DGen pulled the plug on Freeland under days. So be interested to see. That opened at 8.5. It is at 8 now at Westgate against Garrett there, who has not been that good. San Fran, Atlanta. Which bullpen will hold up? Good matchup, Wood versus Wright. My assumption is that you will be on Atlanta today, because Wright's coming off a bad start last time. Kershaw and Green, again, Dodgers just way too much firepower. Cincinnati just back end just can't withstand, they're just too deep. And it's funny because on our fantasy team, we got the worst link of all on that lineup, and that's Bellinger, who's just over the 200 line. And I see 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 runs scored by the Dodger nightly. And I see Bellinger 0 for 4, 0 for 5, 0 for 4. It's just disgusting there. Steele versus Quintana. Is it steel or aluminum can today? We've talked about that at length. Cubs, Pittsburgh puts up a double digits game one. Cubs come back and reciprocate with double digits yesterday. St. Louis, Milwaukee. This has been a war, and I've caught the last couple innings late, the first two games. This is going to be a fun one. Hudson versus Alexander. Phillies versus San Diego. I've talked at length. We have Musgrove has been pretty sneaky this year. Had some success with Suarez ourselves here. Plesac and Smeltzer. You know my thoughts on Smeltzer there. Fade Robbie Ray versus Montas. Let me just tell you, I left Kirby on the desk yesterday, Scott. What a shame. They were panning into the dugout. And I think if the Oakland A's could sign up and just tap out and say, you know what, we'll see you in the spring, I think they would. If I was Oakland, I would have one more fire sale, and I would bring up the single A, double A, triple A, and any of the veterans would not play. I would just play the kids the rest of the 80 games and see what we got. That's my take on it. They're dead. They're done. Talked about Houston and the Yankees, and then Baltimore and the White Sox. Cueto's been sneaky good. The White Sox are just fumbling and bumbling. Not a big creamer guy, but that's the board, Scotty. What do you see?
um, there's a lot of interesting things here. I think that based on numbers, just looking at odds, there's a lot of tighter odds today. A lot of these games you go in here and they're minus 200, minus 180, minus 175, minus 300. You're trying to figure out how you're going to play these games. Today there's a lot of closer competition, and that requires a little different thoughts, because it's not quite so okay. Let's go bet the good teams against the bad teams, so to speak, and let's pick our spots and go that way, even though that's what I'm doing. But it's one of these scenarios where, if you're gonna play, say for example, St. Louis and Milwaukee today, right? What is that, like a pick'em type game now, right? Something along those lines. You got to know certain things. So the one thing you got to know about that game is Alexander's a below average pitcher and Hudson's an average pitcher, right? So you got a little bit of a better pitcher in Hudson. However, these teams play in the same division, so they played a lot. Alexander's never pitched against St. Louis because this is only his fourth start he's making. But Hudson has pitched quite often against Milwaukee, and so he's pitched 3 times at Miller Park. In the 3 times that he's pitched there, he's pitched 11 innings. So, if you're going to pitch 5 innings, you'd at least get 15. So that tells you that he's below average at Miller Park. He's not doing very well just in terms of how many innings he gets. He's given up 18 hits in 11 innings, and he's given up 14 runs in 11 innings. So if you're going to go support the St. Louis Cardinals today, you need to figure out what's Hudson going to do. If Hudson goes and does what Hudson normally does, Milwaukee's going to hit the crap out of him. So, that turns me off, because I kind of liked St. Louis today until I did a little bit of study there. And it's like, in our Discord today, I put in projected standings for the American League Central today, because it has flipped. So both Fangraphs and Baseball Prospectus now have the Cleveland Guardians winning the Central. Can you believe that? The Cleveland Guardians to win the American League Central. There's a team, Jeff, you and I didn't talk about when we were talking about, some of the teams we could bet on that maybe we're going to get there. We were talking about St. Louis the whole time, and here's another one that's just popping in. So there's probably still value on that.
And it's funny watching them last night. And again, 10-7, top of the ninth, single, double, then a play the center fielder almost made. They both score. And then, it was tied up literally with the first 4 batters. And they had that fire. And, of course, when you're in those spots, always the big top hired guns always in the middle of it. And there's Ramirez. But they were fired up. And you know what? I have to blame the White Sox in this regards. The White Sox are supposed to run away and hide in this division. And we talked about maybe the Twins, and the Twins got off to a good start. I watched the Twins. They don't have enough front end pitching. They don't have a back end. They're going to score a lot of runs. Okay. But Cleveland, we talk about the Orioles being pesky. That's the Cleveland Guardians, Scott. And they got a fire plug with Ramirez. They have some arms that can throw gas. And they got the best manager, I think, in the game with Tito.
So what if I told you the Houston Astros have 93 home runs and 294 runs scored, and the Cleveland Guardians have 53 home runs? So that's 40 less home runs, and they have 300 runs scored. So 6 more runs than what the Houston Astros have.
That's called playing baseball, putting the ball in play, first to thirds, taking what they're giving you, and that's all based upon their manager.
They are the team that strikes out the least
Mhm.
in Major League Baseball. Cleveland Guardians, sorry. But today, um, they're facing a left-handed pitcher. Cleveland is 29th in Major League Baseball against a left-handed pitcher, so I can't support them here. They are weighted runs created plus 82, so that means they're 18% worse than an average team. And second to on that, that's kind of keeping up with that. The WOBA number is 281, and you need that to be about 325, 330, somewhere in there. And they are way below. So they're going to have to work some magic to get this done. And Plesac at Target Field, because this again divisional game, they pitched a lot against each other. Now he's only pitched twice at Target Field, and both times that he's pitched 11.2 innings. He's given up 12 hits and 11 runs. And I don't like Plesac anyway. You've heard me say that several times. But he's been pitching pretty well. So I was like, I'm going to go back to Cleveland today. And then I'm like, I can't do that. So I guess my point, getting back to the topic of these lines are a lot closer in some of these spots. There's a reason for it. And the reason is that if you really want to go support some of these teams that the lines are pretty close on, you're going to have to get a little lucky. And if you get a little lucky, good for you. But understanding what you're doing is more important than trying to get out there and be lucky than good, right? So put yourself in good spots. And the first good spot that I see on the board is in Cincinnati, and I know Green has been pretty good, and he can go out there and dominate. But now you got Kershaw on the mound for the Dodgers. The Dodgers, in the last 30 times they've played in Cincinnati, they're 20-10. So there's a 2/3 winning percentage right there. Just in the fact that it's just the Dodgers and the Reds. You match them up, and they win 20 out of 30 times. The Reds have not only had I got to pull them back up here for a second. They just came off of a sweep prior to playing the Dodgers, and I think it was against the Brewers, right? And now they've lost two more straight games. They've lost two more straight games to the Dodgers, and they lost to the Diamondbacks right before that. So they've lost 2, 4, 6 straight games. They also are in that very bad position. And this is the one thing I've been tracking from the beginning of the season. It's Thursday. Today's a travel day. You got 2 travel days. You got Wednesday and Thursday seems to be the more popular travel day these days. But if you're a home underdog, in which Cincinnati is, and you have to travel to a new city, these home underdogs, Jeff, they just pack it in. I'm done. I'm not trying to win today. I need to get to the next city I'm going to. And if I'm not mistaken here, when I pulled this up, where is Cincinnati? Cincinnati, they, I think, are traveling out west. So and I might be wrong there, but I think they're traveling out west. Anyway, they're moving along. This is so poor. I mean, it's a 70% win for the visitor team. 70%. That's really high. So now you got to figure out how you're going to get in a game. So right now the run line is minus 136 for the Dodgers and Kershaw. And then when I pulled up the numbers, Kershaw, he's got a game score 67.8 against Cincinnati. That's pretty good. Green's only pitched once against the Dodgers, and of course, why wouldn't he have? He's only pitched this season. So, and he's had his ups and his downs. His game score for the season is a 46, which is below average, but over the last 7 starts, it's a 57. So much, much better. And he's off of a bad start. So I would almost expect him to do pretty well today. That being said, I expect Kershaw to pitch pretty well today. He's off a game score 58, and he's now making his 3rd start off the injured list. So I'm okay with him supporting him. And the Dodgers offense right now is number 5 in all of baseball, and the Cincinnati offense is number 28. They're also 7-13 against left-handed pitchers. So give me the Dodgers, the much better team here, and specifically in a role where Cincinnati's likely not to show up, especially offensively. And if Green holds them in the game for a while, that's okay, because when it comes to the end of the game, the Cincinnati bullpen, if I can pull it right here, the Cincinnati bullpen is 21st right now. Oh no, that was the wrong one. Right there, I have this set up a different way, but they're 27th in the bullpen. So I'm good with, okay, if the Dodgers can scratch off one or two or three against Green, I'm good with that. And if it's a 2-2 kind of game, I'm okay with that too, because I think the Dodgers capitalize on the bullpen from Cincinnati. Now, when you look at the Dodgers bullpen, they're top 10. So that doesn't mean they're the best bullpen, but they're top 10, and I'll take the top 10 over the bottom feeders of the league. So that's what I played in the first day game. I played Kershaw on the run line against Cincinnati. And I'll tell you the I only played one other game, and it's a night game. So I can go over what I'm seeing on the board, which I did in a couple of games already. And then I can tell you what I played if you wanted me to kind of go through these games, because they're going to start here in a little bit. But Freeland and Garrett, right? They're pitching today. Garrett's a game score 43 on the season, and Freeland's a game score 48 on the season. Over the last 7 starts, Freeland's a 46, so that's about where he's normally supposed to be. His last start's a 45, so that's pretty consistent, below average pitcher. Both of these guys have big Sierra numbers today. There's a 5.71 and a 4.51. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that just means that the good likelihood these guys aren't going to be on the top of their game. So when then you start to flip it over and you look at whip rate, right? So 1.17 for Freeland, which is average, and 1.54 for Garrett. So that's above average. So that's 1.5 guys on per inning. And he's got a batting average against a 291. So he's not fooling anybody. Those guys are hitting him. And neither one of them are strikeout pitchers. I like the idea that there might be some runs in this game. I don't remember what the total on the game is, but I would suspect that there's going to be 8. I think you could probably be over 8 and be reasonably successful here. Neither offense is the greatest in the world right now, but with these two pitchers, it's likely that they can do some damage here. Now, you said I would like Atlanta, I think, in this San Francisco game, and I do like Wright, but Wright's off a game score 44, and he's a game score 61 on the season. 61. That means he's an ace. And Wood is a game score 51 on the season, so he's just a bit above average, and he's off a game score 41. So I expect both pitchers to pitch pretty well today. And as I tell you that I think both pitchers are going to pitch pretty well today, Wood has been better as of late. His last 3 games are a game score 59. So I kind of like the idea that both teams are going to try to have to figure it out. And I think this might come down to the bullpen here. So this is, to me, if you're going to try to get in this game, you're going to be trying to figure out how to play first 5 or something on Wright, or try to play a run line on Atlanta. And to me, it's more of a flip of a coin than it is that way. So I am not a supporter of this particular game, just because I think that when you're trying to flip it to get in it, you're now at a disadvantage, and the numbers should go for San Francisco. I told you about Kershaw Green. This Chicago-Pittsburgh game is a little interesting to me, only in a sense that I can't tell really who's supposed to be the favorite. I will tell you this. Pittsburgh got a little life when they got O'Neal Cruz up the first time.
The kid's a stud.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? 6'7" shortstop, man. I don't know how long that's going to last, to be honest. He can't, there's not 6'7" shortstops. So, put Aaron Judge at shortstop and you think that's going to work? So anyway.
I don't think the first baseman's going to need extra padding on that glove. He's never seen something like that coming in. Imagine a doubleheader with this kid, with about 10 plays. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, so then you sit there and you go, how is Contreras a number 2 prospect for the Pirates? And then you see this kid and you go, oh, now I know why. That kid's pretty good. But I will say, my number in this game was Pirates minus 118. That was my number. Now, having said that, I think this is more of a pick 'em, and I think you can sit here. I think the last time I looked, there were some sites that had the Cubs favored and some sites that had the Pirates favored. And here's what I'll tell you. Steele is a game score 49 on the season. So he's right about average, a little bit below average. And Quintana is a game score 50 on the season. But Quintana, over his last 7 starts, is a game score 45. He was good early, and he is not so good now. Over his last 3 starts, is a game score 35. He's headed in the wrong direction. And he's off a game score 41. So it's just consistently bad. Steele is a game score 44 he's off of, but his last 3 is a 56 and his last 7 is a 53. So he's going in a different direction. So I was hoping for a here we go with a travel day with Pittsburgh and being a team that didn't want to play and didn't want to go, but that's not the way they work. This works. You can't just go and say, hey, these home underdogs pack it in on every Thursday when they travel and they go away, because this is a young team that they just called up a superstar stud, and they got a lot of energy right now, and they're playing the Cubs who they don't have much energy at all. So I just think that this is a flip of the coin kind of game, and I think the numbers that way. So if I was going to do anything, I would almost think that Chicago was the better way to go, only because the way Quintana's been pitching. He hasn't been he's not been doing well. Neither bullpen's that good. Neither offense is that good. So when you start to think about, okay, well, where's the advantage? I don't know that there really is a whole, because Steele's a better pitcher if he pitches well. Plesac and Smeltzer, I kind of talked about this one. Smeltzer's off a game score 13, Jeff. 13. And, when they get that bad, they don't have back-to-back 13s. Typically, they go out and they throw a 60 to balance that out. So I would expect Minnesota to have a little better game on the mound today. And Plesac, he's off a game score 53, and his game score for the season's a 47, and his game score against Minnesota is a 44. And I already talked about how bad he was at Target Field. So I would kind of consider Minnesota to be a little bit where it needs to go here. I don't like the number, because the way I saw this number, I think Minnesota is like 135 or something. I think that's disrespectful to Cleveland. My number's 109. I think it should be in that neighborhood. And if you're at 135, that tells me that people think that they don't like Plesac at all. Well, I think Plesac's pitched a little better than what I've given him credit for the season, but I don't think he's in a good spot here. But I don't like the number, and I'm not paying extra to bet on the Twins when the Twins now are projected not even to win the division, and Cleveland's supposed to. So I'm staying away from that one. That Hudson and St. Louis game we talked about already a little bit. What bothers me is just that Hudson is hittable. He's not a strikeout guy. He's got 4.5 strikeouts per 9 innings. And he walks guys, 3.82 walks per 9 innings. So he puts guys on base. He doesn't strike guys out. So that means there's going to be contact. He has not done good in Milwaukee. So I don't like that. And when you want to be a road team that wins, you need to be able to have some kind of dominance of base runners, keeping them off base. And he just doesn't have it. So I also don't like Alexander in this spot because Alexander he has a 1.7 whip rate. So that's more than 1.5 guys on per 9 innings. That's just bad news all the way around. So maybe you go offense here, but they scored some runs yesterday. So I'm not sure exactly which way to go here. The numbers don't tell me that this is going to be a low scoring affair. It tells me it's going to be more of a slugfest. 4.93 Sierra for Hudson, 5.33 Sierra for Alexander. So those are big numbers. Seattle and Oakland. If we fade Ray today, we should be shot in the foot because Robbie Ray has been dominant over the Oakland A's. I mean, I don't know how else other than say it. I mean, he's got a game score 64 against Oakland. His ex-WOBA number is 241. That just means that if your average WOBA number is 320, 330, you're not allowing guys to get on base, whether you walk them or you allow them to get base hits or whatever. They're not getting opportunities. They're not doing well. My problem with Robbie Ray and supporting him is he's off a game score 80. So and then the time before that, it was a 77. So he's due for a dud. I don't know if he's going to have a dud against the A's because I don't know if the A's can make anybody a dud. But at the same time, you got Montas, who's off a game score 26. So that tells me Montas is going to pitch pretty good. Robbie Ray's probably not going to pitch pretty good. How do you go support a team that hasn't won? They've won 8 games, Jeff, out of 35 at home. I think they're 8-27 or something like that. Are you kidding me? I am not. And you said you looked in the dugout and they were all sleeping in there. So you're not gonna support Oakland in this spot. But I'm not going to go back Ray only because he's in a position where he might not do that great. I think the number was at Seattle minus 125, something like that, 120. I don't think that's a bad number. I think that's probably a decent number. You're not going to be able to pick on Oakland at this price point that often. So even if you just want to take a flyer, I'm okay with a flyer. I kind of don't mind a flyer, but I'm not. I'm trying to pick a winner here. So this other game is interesting to me, Houston and New York, because you got Valdez and Taillon. Now, what's interesting to me about this is that neither one of these guys are dominant strikeout guys, right? Valdez strikes out 7.6 guys per 9 innings, and so does Taillon. But where they vary and where they differ is, and I said this before, maybe I should bring it up here. Valdez is right now working on the single greatest ground ball percentage in the history of Major League Baseball for a starting pitcher. 70.2% ground ball rate. Okay, well, that does two things. One, that doesn't necessarily limit hits, but it sort of does because you got 4 infielders, you only got 3 outfielders. So the probability of making an out on the ground is much higher than it is in the air. And 2, the probability of a damaging type hit, a gapper, a home run, a ball off the wall, a double, a triple, is much lower when guys hit the ball on the ground. So the truth is, Valdez has been extremely profitable, and he's been a great guy to support because the pitch type that he has and the trajectory of the ball that comes off the bat. That doesn't mean you want to go run to the window and go bet Houston today. And that's because Valdez has a game score, Jeff, 36 against the New York Yankees. He's pitched against them, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. And the Yankees just tattooed the guy. So Kion on the other side has only pitched a couple times against Houston and been dominant. Game score 60. It's been an ace-like against them. So here's what I wanted. I've been waiting this whole thing to tell you this. So is this the right team? Yeah, Yankees. All right. So since let's see, what are we? June 22nd. Let's go back here. Let's go back to June the 14th. Here's who the Yankees have played. And now they haven't had any days off since the 14th. So they've played Tampa Bay 3 times. Pretty good team, right? So they played Tampa Bay 3 times, swept them. Then they went and no days off. Then they played Toronto, 2 out of 3 against Toronto, and should have. You remember that one game? It was 9-10, and they lost with that at the end there, where I think they scored 7 runs on 2. One was a grand slam, a 3-run home run for Toronto that beat the Yankee bullpen that night. So again, no days off. They played Tampa Bay, or they played Tampa Bay, then they played Toronto, and now they just played Tampa Bay again, and now they get Houston. So this is like a grinder right now for the Yankees. Tampa Bay, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Houston. Then they get a little breather. They play Oakland, and then they play Houston, and then they play Cleveland. So this is kind of a grinder time frame for them. They've played since I'm looking at the last day off they had was 6/13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They have 17. Does June have 31 days? I don't think it does it?
30.
So 17, 18, 19, 20. They have their schedule. They're in a 20-game stretch of quality opponents. And right now they've only lost twice. So I can't tell you that anything can happen to them other than fatigue, right? They were just in Tampa. Now they got to fly back home, which is not a big deal. They got to go to New York. They bring in Houston. There's no way they're not going to be fired up to play against Houston. You know, they hate that team. You're getting them at a pretty good price. There's no reason in the world why you shouldn't want to sit here and go, I'm betting the best team in baseball, and I'm getting them at 120 something or whatever it is. What is it still 120?
It's about 124.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not support them? But obviously I didn't support them. I just sit here and go, there's value there. And then you got Kramer against the White Sox. Kramer's not a very good pitcher, and he's off a game score 68. Cueto is not a very good pitcher either. He's sneaky. He's just not very good. But he had a great start the last time out. His first great start in the last, let's say, 5 or 6 that he's had. So I'm going to stay off of it just because I don't like Tony La Russa. I don't like the way the White Sox play. The White Sox are a much better team than what they're producing right now. And Baltimore is just that kind of scrappy team that, you can get in there. Now, I am going to play this game. And I don't do this that often, but it doesn't matter. This is Philadelphia and Musgrove. Musgrove was minus 145. I played minus 145, Jeff. And I know that's pricey for some people, but I mean it's value. It's what you see in the number. My number on this game is minus 200. 200. And I know that seems like it's a lot, but let me explain. Musgrove right now, if I go look at, and I'm just going to pull it up this way. If I go look at projections on the season, I go look at Steamer, I go look at pitchers, and then I hit RA9 WAR. The number one pitcher in all of baseball right now is Sandy Alcantara. Sandy Alcantara is 6.2 WAR. Corbin Burns is 6.1. Max Fried 5.3, and then Joe Musgrove 5.3 WAR. He is the 4th best pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. Number 4. He is an ace amongst aces. And then if I flip it over and do the same thing with Zips, and then I hit the button and I go up there, Joe Musgrove falls behind Alcantara, Burns, and Musgrove, and then Fried. He's 3rd. So he's either the third best pitcher in baseball or the fourth best pitcher in baseball. And you're going to be able to bet him at minus 145 tonight against a Phillies pitcher that's just above average. I'm going to take the ace at home above average. And the San Diego Padres have the number 2 offense in all of baseball right now, number 2. So give me the San Diego Padres with the ace amongst aces minus 145 because it should be much higher than that. You're getting a break here. And then I'll also tell you that the San Diego bullpen is top I think 6 or 7 right now, might even be top 5. And you're talking about the Phillies, which are bottom 15 to 20. So I think you got lots of edges. Musgrove 2.78 xFIP, 3.04 Sierra. He has a 0.89 whip rate. And then you're talking about a guy in Suarez, 4.64 Sierra, 4.28 xFIP, and he has a 1.60 whip rate. More than 1.5 guys on base per 9 innings. So I'm okay with the minus 145 because I think I'm getting a deal. I think I'm stealing this number. So I'm all over it.
Again, it's a tough board in regards to a lot of late afternoon travel day. Then you got a couple gems at night. For myself right now, currently in the afternoon, there's a couple spots I'm going to pass. I'm just going to throw this out there to anyone watching and listening. At 4 o'clock on ESPN, Game 3, Ole Miss and Arkansas. Winner goes to the championship round. I think, let me pull it up right here right now. We were on Arkansas yesterday. I think you're getting plus money on Ole Miss today. Last team selected in. They went undefeated the first weekend. And now
it's 115, I think, for Arkansas.
By the way, Scott, Yankees only minus 145 to win the series. You can grab the Astros plus 125 there. And of course, when I need it, I can't find it.
I think the number is minus 115 Arkansas.
Yeah, right there. I like the bounce back here on Ole Miss today. You can go out and get them plus the 105 at 4 o'clock. Anyone wants some great action there? Again, I think the bats will be more prevalent today, even though I know every, one mistake and you could be out. This is an Arkansas team that last year, once they got here, they were supposed to be the team to beat, and they dramatically bowed out early. An Ole Miss team this year that's kind of the Cinderella. Kiefer's a big fan. I like the plus 105 with Ole Miss today. I give them the edge in the pitching, the depth, and they do not do well against lefties. So it'll be interesting to see how many guys from Arkansas come in from the bullpen pitching from the left side. But in the NL, I'm going to take a look at the night games as well. I just think, again, I keep talking about getting in front of this Yankee train and Cy Talion. They just find ways. And even though I think they're baiting you to take the Yankees today, I don't think I'll be there. I like what Scotty said about the Padres today. I'll take a look at that. But ECSI VIP guys, just take a break, grab some lunch. We will not be on tonight for the closing bell. So we did basically the breakfast bankroll and closing bell together today. Tomorrow morning, myself and Riley will be here for the breakfast bankroll at 2:30. Dan Alexander will be here for the Premier Lacrosse League. Scotty will catch us around 6 o'clock for the closing bell. It'll be Friday, Fade the Public payday. So be ready for that. Saturday morning, at some point, me and Scotty will get on and do a show. I have some stuff early in the morning, but we'll be here for you there. And then on Sunday, Riley. So with that said, anyone wagering early today, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up that phone. There's a 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson, at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have some fun, cash a few tickets, and we will see you soon.